New year, new me. Ed, what's going on?
What's up? We're about to hit you guys with the most cliche New Year episode. Let's go. Just kidding. No, we're not. No, we're not. Come on, guys. We're not going to make this about goals. And we know there's tons of podcasts right now talking about goal setting. And yeah, like Paul said, the new year, new me, which I know, like, I feel personally inspired by a lot of it, but we want to take a little bit of a different angle and go into me and Paul off the mic. We're talking about some of the things that have really contributed to the success of our business that are not necessarily creative or things that we just do in our personal life. So we're going to take this a little bit more personal.
And one of those things that we're going to be talking about today is what are some of the things behind the scenes that we do that bleeds into maybe the way that we run our businesses and the way that we work with our clients. So let's roll the intro music. I'm going to start this out by just saying, Ed, you be looking good in that shirt. I can tell you've been working out. Man, if you're watching on the YouTube,
We out here.
this dude just flexed on me. But no, seriously, when we talk about just what goes into the behind the scenes of everything that we do and, thinking about 2023, I know me and you can relate on some levels on just some of the habits that we have. What comes to mind for, I guess, the first thing that you feel like you do behind the scenes that's a part of your lifestyle, that's a part of your routine that you've implemented that bleeds into all areas of your life?
Yeah. No, I'm super stoked about this episode. I think not to be cliche, but I would love to talk about fitness for a little bit. I know this is big for you too. I know that's everyone's kind of goals to get in better shape, but I the last couple, like a month or two, I recently I'm working with a trainer now, like a buddy of mine, and he's ripped. So like we've been just going back and forth, and it's crazy. Like I haven't felt this much like momentum, I guess you could say, in just overall life, including business, before, like over the whole course of 2022. Like this before. I've never felt it like this before. And it's not a coincidence that I felt it right when I started just taking care of my body and has nothing to do with like cool concepts or cool gems or like anything on the business side of things. No business tips there. It's just literally taking care of my body. And I've seen immense results and mental clarity that has been huge for me. Yeah, I know you work out all the time too, right, Paul? You're just doing like the chest titty dance thing right before we were off the mic.
Dude, I've always loved fitness, and it's part of the reason why I shoot fitness stuff, but I was doing the titty dance before. Ed, what I love about working out and just fitness is I feel like it's one of those things that we can all relate with that, religiously works out, whether it's once every other day or every day of the week, is it helps you just clear your mind and not focus on the things that you're focusing on when you're sitting down on your computer editing or on pitch calls or on set. And I come up with actually some pretty awesome, just like ideas for coaching when I'm working out. But
Agreed.
for the most part, I try to separate it. I also will say that there's something about being consistent, much like the way that we run our businesses. I found that if I can create structure in areas of my life outside of work, then it's going to bleed into work in a way that's healthy. Where I know that in the past, I've been very disorganized with, parts of my business where by setting alarms, by making sure that I hit, maybe a certain number of show ups each week at the gym, it really does make a difference.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I feel like it's very cliche to hear from people. That's why I'm saying this. Like, I just want to make that a point because I remember when I was kind of trying to grow my business and pushing hard, a lot of times people would be like, oh, maybe you should go for a workout, break a sweat. It'll really like help you. Right. And I'd definitely be of the camp of like, dude, like I'm trying to grow my business. Like this is more important, right? Like pushing through when you're hitting brain fog. Like whenever I used to hit a rut, creatively speaking, or just work in general, my toxic trait before was to just push. My thought was, okay, if I just push harder, think harder, I can think to a solution if I just sit here longer. And that is like the biggest myth that I've now uncovered in this kind of more fitness journey. And you're just like like you said, the ideas, something happens in your brain when you work out. And obviously there's, actual scientific backing behind all this. But when you're out there just releasing like energy and you're just like getting your blood pumping, it does create more momentum for yourself mentally. So if you're feeling blocked, I like the other day, yesterday, like off the mic, Paul was helping me with the pitch deck, and I felt very fogged by it. And then to do the call, like, just didn't go as planned, and I need to make a few tweaks on it. And I just sat at my desk after the call, just like really mentally blocked. And I went to bed feeling not that great. When I woke up, I didn't know what to do necessarily about what just happened on the bad, I guess, experience. But as soon as I hit the gym, I had like 10 solutions that I was ready to like try out as soon as I got out of the gym. So it's just the benefits of just getting some of that energy release really, really, really helps, which is nice too, because like the byproduct is you start to look better. But I noticed that everyone in the gym that I've talked to, anyone who does it to look better definitely fizzles out. But if you do it for like the physical benefits, you're just going to continue working out for a long time. And that's kind of like the long game.
That's good. I think it also boosts confidence. I mean, that's something that
For
I've realized
sure.
over the years is like, as much as I feel good when I'm working out, I also have more confidence, not only in just my appearance, but also like, I don't know, with talking with people, whether it's over Zoom or in person. And that brings me to, do you remember years ago, Jacob Owens came out with a workout program?
I don't remember. I mean, I know that his brand name is the Buff Nerds, but I mean, like,
Dude, this dude came out with a full-on workout program. And I had
I feel like I do
friends
remember that
that are
actually.
non-videographers or photographers reach out to me and they're like, bro, you got to check out this Jacob Owens guy. He's putting out this like fire workout guide and it helps him hold his super rig on set. And I think it's cool because he connected the dots that fitness does play a huge role in his, career as well. But I love that we're covering this because ultimately, I think just physical endurance and working out
Yeah.
does bleed into what you do for a living.
there's one thing I'd love to share, and we can move on to the next one. But I don't know if I don't know if you've watched it yet. But there's a Netflix documentary by Jonah Hill, and he did it on his therapist called Stutes. And there's like a thing in there where the therapist says that a lot, like there's this pyramid he shows, like the base, and then the middle, and then the top. You can watch it to get the actual like visual of it. But essentially, what he's saying is a lot of these depressed and like very anxious individuals that come in, one of the very first things he prescribes them is like, are you working out? Are you taking care of your body? And a lot of people think it's like mindset is at the base of everything. Like if you're mentally tough and you're depressed, you can get out of it. But it's actually the opposite. Like you could be mentally weak, but if you do like 85%, he said, or something like some high ratio of patients he comes and sees that he just prescribes them to like get onto a healthier diet and work out better, so many of them feel so much relief from their depression and like anxiety and whatnot, which just goes to prove that like I feel like the health benefits of just working out and breaking a sweat and just getting healthy is so underrated in the culture that we're maybe in with like creative economy, because it's just like so go go go, push push push, like no one has time to like take care of yourself. Like you just got to push. I mean, I know that the hustle culture is kind of fading out. I think that's like a word of like maybe 2019, 2020. But in general, people are still quote unquote hustling and not taking care of the bodies. And it really is a double negative because you don't feel good, you don't look good, and then your business suffers. You don't get to give your business the best
Works because
And
it's
you're
like
working
really a
out with a
double L,
failing business.
honestly.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah.
I think this, no pun intended, bleeds into our next point here, which you brought up off the mic. But let's talk about like the power of sleep, because I'm no sleep therapist by any means, but like me and you both know from going through seasons of extreme burnout, all-nighters, crush the edit, 24/7 shooting, editing, grind hard, get money vibes. That's like, that's not going to get you far. It might get you on a dope music tour, but then you're going to come home and be tired. So I guess my question
Yeah.
for you is like, how has just sleep as a whole helped you in all that you do, even things outside of business? Because I know you be golfing, man. I know you be golfing, and I know you be traveling. So like, how does just sleep in general help fuel everything that you do?
For me, kind of similar to the fitness cover topic we just covered. I started so when I started working out more intensely, like the last couple of weeks and like the last month and a half or so, I also adjusted my sleep schedule because they kind of go hand in hand. Like the person I'm training with was like, you need to sleep more.
This
And I
dude's
was like,
taking naps
okay.
now.
Yeah, like, but basically, like I switched my sleep schedule to wake up at 5, or like 4:45, because then we gotta get to the gym by 5. But essentially, like it's super early for me. I don't say that with a grain of salt. Like that was a huge adjustment for me waking up that early. But with that being said, I go to bed now. Like I try to be in bed by like 9, and try to get as much rest as I possibly can so I can wake up early. But aside from just feeling well rested, which is already a huge benefit, like just feeling better, able to take on more strain like at the gym, that's just like a huge thing. But I've noticed my just like overall life and relationship getting to some sort of like normalcy. Like I have dinners at proper times now with Christine. Like I feel less guilty like going about my day because I got the gym out of the way. I woke up early. I got enough sleep. Like that's already like for me, that's like half the battle of the day. You know what I mean? Like taking care of your body is should be a big part of it. And so now I have this sort of like normalcy, whereas before, and maybe you can share your experience on this part, but like you said, I used to be a midnight, like I used to be a night owl. I would be, oh, I gotta get this edit done. You know, I'm gonna push until 2 a.m., get it done, sleep, and then wake up at like 11. But I've noticed that like when I get tired now and it's like 9 or 10, regardless of the work that's at hand, I just step away because I do less. I just don't perform the best when I'm working when I'm tired. And I think that's a myth that people have in mind that like you should just push through. But to be honest, you're just gonna do like not your best work, and then you're gonna go back and retrace your steps. So you're just doing the work twice, and now you're not as rested. So step away and basically get some sleep, y'all. What about you? What's been your like experience, I guess, with sleep and in general?
Sleep is connected to getting organized with like a schedule. And I think time, like I've been like figuring out my shout out to Google Calendar, just like I've been time blocking things where it's like, this is when I'm going to start focusing on work. I like how you do it with like the shallow and the deep task. And then there's kind of an end time
Hmm.
because I'm a dad of two and I gotta take care of my girls now.
Yeah,
But
you got two little ones. That's a
but
lot
hey,
to
like
handle
having an
too. So
organized schedule definitely flows into like a healthy sleep schedule, which the result of that is having more energy, being more present, um, having a healthier marriage. Because I'm not gonna lie, when me and Sammy first met, your boy went freelance, and I started out with like a couple of clients, but it wasn't enough to cover the bills. And we had loans. We had this expensive apartment in downtown Minneapolis that looked all pretty on Instagram, but guess what? It was expensive. I just found myself being like, this is the season of grind hard, get money, and like I'm pulling all nighters to get these edits done. So then I'm able to pay off loans quick enough. I'm thankful for that season because it helped me realize that burnout doesn't only affect your business, but it also affects your relationships. And I think sleep
hmm
has a huge connection to that. So yeah, I'm thankful for sleep. Um, Even now, like my wife and I with two under two, we have like a system where it's like, okay, we have a guest bedroom. So if like I need to sleep because I have a huge call the next day or a huge shoot, I'll pop over to the guest bedroom and she'll take one for the team. But that means that I'm gonna have to step up on a different night. So it's like,
You have to have a plan.
yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I think sleep is so underrated. And I think another thing that we should definitely consider is, like you said, the community and the relationship aspect of taking care of your like mental and just sleeping better. Like people don't realize the impact it has on the people around you. And I think that for me, I was definitely found myself just feeling really foggy minded and kind of short with people whenever I pushed on my business. Like whenever I'm like hustling, quote unquote, on my business, I found myself just less pleasant to be around for like everyone around me. And that's like really stressful for me. And that has almost gone away. And something I would love to relay on the relationship aspect and just productivity in general is if you're listening to this right now and you feel like you wake up in the morning and you feel like there's just like this brain fog. Maybe it's stress, maybe it's like overdue projects, maybe it's just like a bunch of stuff, but you just feel this fog. I'm telling you, if you take these tips, these two tips that me and Paul have been sharing, which is like fitness and sleep, it will go away. Because that's exactly how I felt. And it literally went away in the first week, which is crazy to me. Like, yeah, like the brain fog is real and it goes away, you know? How do you feel like the sleep and overall just fitness has helped your business relationships and your personal relationships?
I think it helped me really nail down like what my focus should be for honestly my niche. Uh Years ago I looked at my portfolio and it was like wedding work, fashion work, product beauty, little bit of everything, some fitness stuff. And I looked at my lifestyle and I'm like, I really like working out and I also like love a healthy lifestyle. So it helped me like solidify um what my focus was going to be. And I found
That's good.
myself I loved being surrounded by other people that value the same things that I do. But to be honest, like the times that I can think back to where I almost lost my mind and like lost my business was when I lacked sleep. Like I think they go hand in hand. Um, so
Mm.
yeah, I think there's been many moments where I've almost had to like have like a lifestyle check,
Sleep,
a sleep
a
check, and
sleep week,
a
where
sleep
where
week
you
because like the
sleep, like
fitness has never
catch up on all
stopped.
your sleep.
Fitness has never
Yeah.
stopped because gains, but sleep has been something that I'll be honest, I have like new dads reach out to me and they're like, yo, do you mind if I pick your brain over like how to run a freelance business with kids? I'm like, yo, here's a Zoom link because it's something that
Mm.
people don't talk about.
Yeah, that's so good. Fitness and sleep, y'all. Super important. The next one I'd love to talk about is how, for me personally, like budgeting and finance, non-business related. I'm not talking about like within your business and your creative business. I'm talking about it just in general. Like this is an underlying anxiety that I feel like a lot of people have, that I feel like I had and Christine in 2022, is just like this feeling like you're working so hard to make all this money and then not knowing exactly where it's going and then how we're spending it, and just in general like the stress that comes from the unknown on that side of things can actually hurt your business, because then you're kind of like, at the end of the day, what are you working towards, right? Of course we all hear, save your money, build a savings, 401k, all that kind of stuff, but having a strategy for your money outside of your business can in turn help you make better business decisions, because like you think with more clarity when you're taking on that gig or you're negotiating a rate with a client. Like you think with way more clarity when you have full understanding of what your personal finance life looks like outside of work. Because when you're not doing that, you either say yes to everything or you don't position everything properly, and before you know it, you look at your end of year accounting and then you made all this money and you're like, I don't even know where it went, and you're burnt out. So it's like, in order to avoid that happening, it's just having a grip on your finances outside of your business. Have you and Sammy ever taken the time to, like, after getting married, and this could, by the way, this is a tip for if you're married, if you're single, whatever your situation is, like everyone makes money, everyone needs to budget. Like, did you ever had a phase in your life where you had to like sit down and be like, okay, this is our spreadsheet, this is our plan, like this is what we're going to do?
Yeah, honestly, I will say that me and Sammy, from the point we got married, even when we got engaged, we sat down and had hard conversations on budgeting and finances because guess what? It's known that I'm gonna go real right now on you. Like a lot of divorces happen because of financial struggle and financial
Hmm.
miscommunication. And I knew that if I was gonna have a healthy relationship, and then also if I was gonna go freelance and start my own business and be an entrepreneur, that it was going to be something that we were going to normalize that conversation. We did the budgeting apps, we did the spreadsheets, And to be honest, it helped us get through paying off $50,000 of debt within the first couple of years of our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
did that bleed into my business? Absolutely. Those healthy habits helped me because on a personal level, we figured it out. I had confidence in it. So then when it came to talking about money and figuring out, profit in my own, freelance journey, I was like, yo, like, I know exactly what I need to make. I know exactly what my worth is. Um, so yeah, I think this is the one thing that I find just through coaching others and just from going through it. We got to normalize and also get comfortable talking about finances and being able to figure out our own financial structure with our own personal finances before we even think about
Mm-hmm.
business. Um, I think this is a really, really good one. And ultimately, if you don't figure it out on a personal level, your business will sink or your business could sink.
Yeah. No, it's so good. I agree with you. I think money, talking about finances, talking about money should be way more like it should be more normalized to have a conversations, especially amongst close people. It's funny how like when you get closer to people, for some people, like it gets more taboo to talk about money, which is interesting, right? Like you would think when you get closer to people, like the topic of money becomes less taboo, but it becomes more taboo because you're close now and you want to be like cautious. And I think it's because at the core of it, everyone has a measure of insecurity with their finances in general. I think no matter how rich you are, no matter how poor you are, or whatever the case may be, everyone has a position on like how much money they're making. And they're always like feeling like it should be more or it should be more better managed or whatever. Like everyone has their take on money. But yeah, I think having that conversation with yourself or with your partner, like before you get into your business stuff, is so crucial because, we've heard it all the time. There's a bunch of millionaires out there that like, they actually aren't millionaires because like, they like, it's called, we all heard it before, like lifestyle creep. You know what I mean? You could be making $500,000 a year, but you've somehow, because you didn't take it seriously, you've somehow managed to have a floating expense of like 100K a month or 50K a month or something like that. And you're making a ton of money, but you're spending it all. So it's like, what's the point? And then you just like grow your business and it's growing, but your personal life is suffering because you haven't like kind of done your due diligence there. And yeah, anyway, I think this is just a fire tip because money is so important.
My buddy and I, he's in a totally like unrelated field. But he brought this up. He's like, there's a lot of people that are our age that think they're going to be millionaires, but they don't know how to get there. And I'm like, that's
Mm.
facts, because guess what? They haven't taken the
Yeah.
time to really figure out on a personal level, like how to navigate that. So how are they going to figure that out with their 9 to 5 or whatever their, entrepreneurial
Yeah.
journey is?
In this episode, me and Paul, so far, you guys listening, we've talked about fitness. We've talked about sleep. We've talked about the relationship impact it has when we have those two things. And then also money, being more transparent about money, figuring out your plan. We're not talking, everything we're talking about in this episode is not in your business. These are all things that are in our personal life. And Paul and I mean, we probably don't talk about our personal life as much on this podcast because we're always trying to drop, new knowledge or things to help you in your business. But I'm telling you, maybe it's a more self-reflective episode. Like Paul and I could not grow our business without these pillars that we're explaining in this episode from a personal standpoint, right?
That's good. Yeah. And I think on top of that, if there's maybe it's one of these things that stands out to you as something that you could spend more time on, because you've been able to see how it bleeds into your business or other areas of your life, whether it's relationships with your boyfriend or girlfriend or your marriage, all the things, because I really do contribute a lot of what I do to the things that I do on my personal, just on a personal level, because when it comes to my
Mm-hmm.
professional side, they go hand in hand. And I think the habits that I've been able to develop and also spend, again, intentional time on, really have made a difference. And they've not only made a difference in, business or my relationship with Sammy, but also in just the way that I carry myself and the way that I feel, the way that I process, the way that I come up with
Mm-hmm.
maybe ideas. So yeah, I hope this was encouraging for you guys. especially kicking off the new year. We're going to have a lot of awesome, cool episodes to come with guests that
Yeah.
I'm just going to straight up say are fire.
We got some things cooking, y'all.
Yep.
We got some things cooking. I'm super excited. And I agree. This is a good episode. This is the first episode of 2023.
Yep.
And one thing I would just love to paint a picture for all of you is I think this is a great one to start the year with, because any of the things we talk about in this episode, if you don't take it and get it in check now, any goals or hacks or any like golden secret sauce you've been hearing about the new year and how to make this your year, you'll have dead weight on you. Because if you don't get enough sleep, if you don't take care of your relationships, you don't take care of your budgeting, you don't take care of your health or your fitness, no matter what like secret sauce or method you got to grow your business, it actually won't be the full potential because you're lacking on one other area. So I think this is a great one to start the year with, because we got some exciting stuff coming up. We will drop gems in the upcoming episodes, but you have to bring it back a bit for this one.
Fitness, sleep, money bags. All right, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Thanks, y'all. Peace.